Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're putting on our procurement manager hats, and we're going to treat this session like a strategic masterclass specifically built for sourcing footwear in 2026. If you're navigating the global supply chain, you already know that finding the perfect manufacturing partner is literally do or die for your brand. So we're going to break down exactly how to precisely filter your suppliers based on product categories, geographic factory clusters, and absolutely uncompromising compliance standards. Okay. Let's dive into this. If you're still sitting there thinking made in China just means cheap, simple mass production, you kind of need to update your playbook. As this highlights, for global procurement executives and brands in 2026, the reality is that this industry has completely transformed into a highly specialized ecosystem. We're talking about advanced R&D innovation, rigorous ESG compliance, and seriously high-tech manufacturing. To keep us on track, here is our procurement funnel for today. We'll start by looking at the 2026 landscape, map out the shoe capitals, and break down the manufacturer matrix. Then we'll narrow it all down to the strict tech and compliance standards. And finally, how to secure that all-important golden sample. First up, Section 1, the 2026 landscape, and this massive shift to specialized ecosystems. As procurement executives, our very first job is understanding this macro environment. So, this brings us to a really crucial question. How exactly do you match your brand's specific niche with the right factory cluster? Whether you're trying to source luxury leather dress shoes, performance athletic gear, or heavy-duty industrial safety footwear, the cluster you ultimately choose is going to dictate the success or failure of your entire production line. Moving right along to Section 2, we're mapping the shoe capitals. Because honestly, where you source is who you source from. Regional specialties will instantly filter our supplier list. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how perfectly these regions align with specific product categories. Up in Fujian, Xinjiang and Guangzhou are the undisputed sneaker capitals and the hub for global athletic materials innovation. Now, if you need high-end fashion and luxury OEM, you've got to head to Dongguan and Guangdong. They are the gold standard for turning designer sketches into premium footwear. Over in Zhejiang, Wenzhou is your go-to hub for cost-effective mid-market leather and formal dress shoes. And if you're stepping into the industrial safety and PPE space, go straight to Gami in Shandong because that entire cluster is built entirely around international safety certifications. All right, Section 3, the manufacturer matrix. This is where we filter by category and minimum order quantity, or MOQ. We absolutely have to treat these factories as specialized tools for very specific procurement jobs. Here's the first half of our matrix, focusing on the massive global enterprises and established niche players. At the very top is UUN, the largest footwear manufacturer globally, building shoes for giants like Nike. But check out that MOQ, 10,000 pairs. They're vertically integrated, they even have their own sole factories, and they cater to multinationals demanding top-tier ESG compliance. For luxury fashion, Stella is an amazing choice for designer labels, sitting at a 500 to 1,000 MOQ. Volume retailers looking for stable women's fashion can look at Hajian, who actually runs factories in Ethiopia to support a China Plus One strategy. If you need traditional Goodyear welted luxury men's dress shoes, Winson is your heritage pick. And for B2B industrial PPE, those gamey safety OEMs sit around a 500 to 800 MOQ, prioritizing slip resistance and technical performance. Now for the second half of the matrix, this is the playground for agile manufacturers. Up top, Xinjiang OEMs are famous for their small batch, fast response capabilities. With MOQs around 200 to 500, they perfectly match the speed of global fast fashion and TikTok e-commerce. CFD Walk is a stellar match for modern streetwear brand startups. Tingfang, they're the go-to for durable, weatherproof gorecore and outdoor brands. Clarko is incredibly friendly for mid-sized importers because they offer a ton of existing molds, which can literally save you a fortune in tooling costs. And for boutique brands chasing highly unique aesthetics, Walk Nice excels in personalized custom orders with MOQs dipping as low as 100 to 300 pairs. Let's just contrast these two extremes to really drive home a point. UUN is geared to provide massive production scale for Fortune 500 giants, whereas Walknies actively shapes its production lines to handle design-heavy boutique orders that a massive factory would instantly reject. Choosing a supplier isn't just about who can make a good shoe, it is entirely about matching your specific volume and business model to the factory's operational framework. Which brings us to Section 4, Tech and Compliance Standards. Once we've got our shortlist, the rigorous, uncompromising auditing phase begins.
So the crucial point is following this exact step-by-step workflow for vetting long-term manufacturing success. First, the technical R&D assessment. You must request lasting reports and 3D prototypes. If a factory develops molds in-house, that signals high technical maturity and faster lead times. Second, sustainability verification. Compliance is not optional anymore. Verify their LWG or GRS eco ratings. And third, the QC protocol. You have to mandate inline inspections specifically during the lasting phase. That's the moment the upper actually meets the sole.
Why the lasting phase? Well, 90%. Just let that sink in for a second. That massive number represents the percentage of structural footwear defects that occur specifically at the lasting stage. If you aren't inspecting during lasting, you are exposing your brand to immense quality control risks. Speaking of mitigating risk, let's quickly review the non-negotiable certifications you need in 2026. For leather, you want an LWG rating. For recycled parts, look for the GRS standard. If you're buying safety boots from Guyomi, you absolutely need to verify their impact and compression lab tests. Look for CE or ASTM certificates verified by heavy hitters like Satra, Intertech, or SGS. And if your market demands vegan options, manufacturers like Clarko, Stella, and Walkness are now offering incredible high-performance PU, pineapple leather, and bio-based synthetics. Finally, Section 5, securing the golden sample. This is the absolute final, most critical quality benchmark before you even think about pulling the trigger on mass production.
So what is the golden sample? It is your legally binding quality benchmark. As a procurement manager, you never, ever allow mass production to begin without physically signing off on this. And here is the kicker. It must be a physical sample pulled straight off the actual production line, not just a perfect handcrafted prototype from the factory sample room.
And this brilliantly illustrates why that matters. Your production timeline, your day zero, only officially starts after that golden sample is approved. From there, standard mass production takes about 45 to 60 days. Now sure, agile factories like Walkness or those Jinjiang OEMs might offer faster lead times for existing molds, but either way, that countdown clock doesn't start ticking until that production line sample is locked in. So, we've mapped the geographic clusters, built our manufacturer matrix, run the strict audits, and locked in the final sample. I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. In 2026, is your chosen factory merely making shoes for you, or have you vetted them thoroughly enough that they're functioning as a fully compliant, tech-driven extension of your brand? By using the strategic filtering funnel we just covered, you can guarantee it's the latter. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy sourcing.